Alrighty, friends, we've got Easymoc versus Field and Stream. Not really. These are both great boots. They're both great. I like a versus because it's fun to compare and contrast, but I don't think, if you're looking for like a nitty gritty, detail oriented boot battle, this ain't it, man. This just isn't it. What this is appreciating two boots side by side that have certain similarities. Some are obvious, some are not so obvious. But I think it's really worth also exploring what the differences are, what makes them different, and how that's reflected in the price and how that's reflected in the performance. I also just want to use this video as kind of talking about my first couple of days of wearing these boots, because I've been wearing them, for really a few days, but I have a lot to say. I've got a lot of thoughts. These are, in case you don't know, if you haven't seen any of my previous videos, these are the Easymoc Rangley Boots. They're made in Maine. These are just a beautiful kind of traditional hand-sewn moccasin, handmade in Maine. That's really exciting. It's got a wonderful green canvas in the panel and a very oily, thick, brown, pebbled leather. They've got the toe bumper and Vibram black Christie outsoles, which I love. If you're going to give me a Christie, make it black. Really thick. Oh, pardon me. Really thick pull tab. And you got the cinched here, and it's just real nice. Okay, now you've got the Field and Stream by Goki, ex-Goki. These are the shotgunners, but essentially we're just going to call them their moccasin, like upland, bird hunting boots. These retail for around $650, the Easymocs, and these retail for $299. They have a 15% off that just pops up a million times on the Boyd Harness Company website. So I'm going to say they're $255 because they're just begging you to use that discount, and it's very easy. You just put your email in and there you go. It's, they're not trying to hide it from you. So these are $255. These are $650, and there's no, discount that's jumping up on the Easymoc website every 3 seconds. So, is this boot $400 better than this boot? Is this boot $400 worse? Which one is worth it? If I had to recommend either one, which one would I recommend? And these are all things that are worth thinking about. They're worth exploring. These have a Vibram PVC or EVA, kind of, essentially a synthetic rubber outsole, but they're lug, which is cool. You rarely see these, or I rarely see these. But it's nice because it's lightweight, but you still get kind of that luggy grip. There you go. Now, the Field and Stream boots, maybe because of how much they are, because of the value, because of the cost, I would wear these. I'm going to wear these hunting this year, I think. I've got my Filson Upland boots that I like wearing hunting when it's not too cold out, but I want to wear these hunting. They're kind of how should I say this? All these boots are playing on traditional old hand-sewn moccasin upland, like bird hunting, kind of upland hunting boots. And this one is made in the Dominican Republic. Boyd Harness kind of they resurrected the Field and Stream boot line alongside Goki, and it's kind of a way of having an outsourced Goki boot line. That's outsourced to the Dominican Republic to be a little bit cheaper. And I talked about it in the video, but I think it's a really good thing. I think it helps Goki USA do better, hopefully. And it also allows them to make more boots and get more people into just real nice quality boots. These are hand-sewn moccasin construction. They've got a leather midsole. The leather here is clearly a cheaper leather than the Easymoc, but not a bad leather at all. It's a kind of a buffed sort of nubuck. I don't really want to call it a nubuck, but it's definitely buffed. But then again, you could see a little bit of veining and stuff. So, it's a nice, oily, full grain leather. Now, just seeing all that kind of puckering, I think it's beautiful. But then again, it's not exemplary of a very, very expensive leather. but it feels like a reliable, high quality leather. In fact, I don't want these boots to be a nicer leather because then I wouldn't want to take them hunting. These Easymocs, on the other hand, I don't want to wear them hunting. You could argue that this is the higher. I mean, it's certainly a more expensive boot. The leather guard and everything is gives it a bit more resistance. Just a really really thick backstay. Look at this backstay. I mean, this is obviously more robust. Can just take more of a beating. Here you have these exposed stitches, which I that was kind of the one thing that I mentioned in my initial unboxing that I don't love. I think that is a potential fail point that just isn't necessary. I don't want to wear these hunting. I just don't. They're nice boots. Sorry about the focus. They're nice boots. They're really nice boots. I love wearing them, and I'll wear them on the trail. But I just, they're just they're a little bit too nice. They're a little bit too nice, and they're a little too. There is a daintiness to them, as tough as they feel. They just don't feel like that's what they're made for. These boots do. They do feel like they are made for a hunter. And what this boot feels like, and I have a soft spot for a goal, for the goal that this boot feels like it is I feel like it's made for the American, let's go cliche, the American outdoorsman that 50, 60, 70 years ago would be wearing Chippewas or Red Wings or the original Field and Stream kind of licensed boot line, but over the last bunch of years have moved into just wearing kind of very, very like much cheaper synthetic kind of Irish setters, current Irish setters, not the old Irish setters. Kind of what are the other like cheap boot hunting brands, kind of the cheaper imported Danners, kind of like really, really putting lightweight, comfortable, affordable footwear first. This feels like a boot that can help that hunter get back into a traditionally made, high quality boot, but still have a bit of the affordability and a bit of the lightweight comfort straight out of the box. These boots had no break-in. They were so comfortable right out of the box, but still be wearing a heritage kind of traditionally made boot out of good quality materials that will last them longer, that will tell more of a story, that will be prettier over time. And just has a bit more of that ethos of outfitting, the American outdoorsman. So I have a soft spot for this boot. I like what it does. I like that it can get that kind of 55-year-old Midwest hunter that's kind of been wearing garbage and maybe stumbled upon a YouTube video by Rose Anvil or someone and goes, I want to get better footwear, and then Google's like, yeah, I don't know, hunting boots, and these kind of pop up. They stumble upon these and they go, man, I've been reading Field and Stream for years. They don't know much about, but they go, these look nice. Oh, Vibram, I've heard somebody once told me that Vibram is the way to, and they purchase a pair of these with the discount, let's say, and they're $255 in, and they get a wonderful, like kind of utilitarian hunting boot that should last a long time. There's nothing about this boot that really worries me. It feels like just the stitching feels nice, robust. The leather is just so oily that I just don't worry about it at all. And it's nice to have a boot you don't really worry about. Now, people did mention in the video that, with moccasins, you always have to worry about water resistance, and that's just true. I haven't worn these in a creek yet, so that's where I'm at. I don't really want to speak on that before I do. That being said, very oily, very waxy thread. I mean, I think you can, go through a creek on the stones and dip a bit in a little bit of water here and there, and you should be fine. That is my guess. I wouldn't be surprised, but also wouldn't be surprised if they did leak from here. This boot is this is a prettier kind of, and again, it is a robust, tough boot. Can I wear these hunting? Yes, but I don't want to. I just don't want to. They're a little too nice. And there you go. So, are these boots worth $650? Like, oh my God, like show me another company that's making these boots that isn't in the, $400 to $800 range. Like Russells are going to be a bit more. Russells are going to be $750, $800, and and then Gokis are going to be like $450 around, give or take. and then you have the imported ones, and these are 300, give or take. So, obviously having both is a luxury. If you had to choose either one, I would say, what are you using them for? What do you want them for? In a way, you could argue this boot can do more. However, if you want just a boot that's going to kind of get more beautiful with age, that you can wear on like kind of very tame, local, semi-urban-esque hiking trails, but you're also going to mostly wear them in the city or in your kind of town or small city, kind of average American city. And you're running in a coffee, you run from the coffee shop to your, I don't know, your job in a warehouse or something, or in an office. I would say maybe look at these or look at the Chrome XL versions. The natural Chrome XL version of this Easymoc Rangley is stunning, stunning. And that boot will only get prettier, and that's a great boot for, $650 or so. That's a really, really, really nice boot. That can take a beating. But if you want a traditionally made kind of, boot that you will wear on the trail a bit more, you do want to maybe wear hunting, but you can also, rock wherever you want. I would say, and you're a little bit more budget conscious, I think that this Field and Stream by Goki option is just an amazing option. To me, it fills in a gap that I knew was there, but I don't think a lot of people talked about. To me, it fills in a gap that I felt. I felt that there was a gap, that there was a bit too much, there wasn't much happening for moccasin boot, not like traditionally made moccasin style boots, in the kind of sub $350 range. There just isn't enough. I mean, quaddy will sometimes actually dip down, even though they're hand sewn in Maine, but they don't scream hunting to me. They scream camp, they scream Maine cabin, but they don't scream hunting. So, in a way, this fills in where Filson left off. Filson used to make the Upland boot, pardon me, and this fills in that, and then Goki as well if you want a similar boot that's made in the USA. So it's an exciting time for footwear. It's an exciting time for traditional boots that are, utilitarian and, feature rich and function focused, to be resurrected and appreciated and, and evolve, and change. I mean, this is a very much a modern take on a very, very traditional hand-sewn moccasin boot. You also have the leather pinking here that's kind of actually shredding just because of the leather, but you do have, it's a beautiful detail compared to this. That's just very, very simple. Now, the lining on this is a cheaper lining. It's not a bad lining, but it is certainly, and it's kind of, again, I have a soft spot. But compare this with this lining. I mean, come on. This and I like when you look at a boot and you go, yes, that's why it's priced like that. That's why it's priced like that. However, they're both great. And this to me is so, the Field and Stream boot is a lot better than a lot of similarly priced boots, especially in the imported hunting boot world, yeah, there you go, man. So I like these boots a lot. I'm grateful for both of them, and I enjoy both of them. I've enjoyed both of them this week. So I thought it'd be good to kind of compare and contrast a little. This is a heavier boot. The Easymoc is definitely heavier. Is it? Huh. They're not as much of a weight discrepancy as I thought there would be. But yeah, look at that. I mean, even the the paneling, it's like the Easymoc just has this beautiful swoop, and the relief cut in here. And this is a very kind of a boxed off boot. So there's I don't know. I mean, some people might think that the Field and Stream looks better. That you'd have an argument. I like the camo a lot. I like the kind of very simple, streamlined, traditional look as well. But the Easymoc does feel special. It does feel elevated. All right. Have I said the same thing in a million different ways? I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts, sincerely. But yeah, both hand-sewn moccasin construction. They both have leather midsoles. Both have wonderful oily leather, and both have a cool waxy canvas, or in Easymoc's case, non-waxed canvas panel. So very cool. Both have Vibram soles, but very different. Fire Emblem Souls. Okay, have a great day.